Hey guys, welcome back. I think today's video is going to be very beneficial for you because I was able to get on one of the horses that my assistants had been working for quite a while and see some of the areas that she was struggling with in the collection process, which was eye-opening for me to understand how to teach you guys and how to walk through some of these pitfalls. So let's get into part 3 of teaching your horses collection. So before we get started, let's talk about what collection is to me. Now, collection to me is the feeling that my horse is prepared to do whatever maneuver that I ask him to do within the next stride. And so in order to have a horse that can do that, we need one that's carrying themselves correctly. So their back is lifted, they're elevated in the shoulders, and they're driving with impulsion from the hip, okay? And in order for a horse to do that, they cannot be compressed front to back. We need to ride them back to front. And that is why from early on, I talk about softening at the withers and lifting the back, getting the whole horse relaxed so they can lift and drive instead of trying to pull them into a headset from the front and then fix everything from there. It does not work that way. If you can't get that horse to drive with energy through themselves, you cannot get collection to happen, okay? And then before that, we need to establish mental collection where that horse takes some responsibility for the speed that they're going before we ever start working on the physical side of that. And I have all the videos covering that. I'll link them below. Now, the first thing that I noticed when I got on this horse is that while she had some softness in her chin and a little bit of softness in the top line, there was a resistance there. There was only so far that I could pull on that face before she would start kind of compressing and locking up in the shoulders and not actually driving through herself. And she also was better on a circle. From the beginning, I have you guys work on circles a lot during this collection process because it allows you to take that inside leg and soften up the rib cage as you travel around on a circle. And while you're doing that, not only are you getting the horse to respond and soften to that inside leg, but also the muscles on the outside are stretching and lengthening. So when you take them on a straight line and you squeeze with both legs and you start asking them for collection to lift their back, get round and drive the energy through themselves, then it's much easier. What happened with this horse is that she was never put on a straight line and never asked to really drive through herself. So anytime she was put on a straight line, then I'd pick her up and you can see how she just starts slowing down, stopping in the front and not actually moving through herself. What I'm going to do is set my hands a decent distance apart and I'm going to ask that horse to find the straightness on her own. Now, often we want to keep her hands nice and close and that's really great and good and fine. But if you set your hands at a distance like this, what is going to happen is that horse is going to start searching where they're supposed to put their head like this. I want that horse to take a little bit of responsibility and find the straightness and get between my hands and legs. I'm sure all of you have heard that term before. I want my horse to stay between my hands and legs. Get your horse between your hands and legs. And this is how we do that, is by helping that horse channel the energy in the right direction. Okay, so by setting my hands at this distance, I have light contact on the bit and I'm going to be bumping with a light and consistent rhythm, asking that horse to start driving through herself and driving with the hip. And when I feel the energy get straight and I feel that surge and she channels herself and reaches her nose to that bit and lengthens the back, that's when I'm going to release. I'm going to quit bumping and I'm going to let her walk through it or trot through it. Whatever gait we're at, I'm going to release for a moment, okay? I pick up, I make light contact. She moves her head side to side. She's searching, and then as soon as that horse steps up, drives for just a moment and reaches into the bit, that's when I'm going to release, okay? And I'm going to do this over and over again until this horse can find that consistently whenever I lift up and whenever I drive her. Now, it's very important that you get this consistent at a walk and a trot before moving on. If you guys are finding this video helpful, I'd love for you to consider giving it a like, maybe leaving a comment. If you have any questions, I always try my best to get back to those. And if you want to see more full-length and in-depth content and the levels that we use to teach all of these maneuvers, you can find all that and more at our membership at successfulhorseman.com. Let's get back to the video. Once we get into the lope, it's going to be the same thing. What you'll notice right away is that anytime I pick up on this mare, she wants to kind of lean on the bit and then she goes into that 4-beat lope and she loses tempo and loses impulsion, okay? The stride just kind of shortens and she just quits. Like the energy does not drive all the way through her body. So I'm going to be driving her and sometimes it has to get pretty aggressive where I'm really bumping on her with my legs saying move up, move up, move up. What you'll notice too is that whenever this mare does slow down too much, my number one goal is getting the impulsion back in her feet and making sure she maintains that 3-beat gait, okay? We do not want this horse stumbling down into that 4-beat gait and then trying to get her soft and stuff, because softness without impulsion doesn't get you anywhere. So as we work on this, I want you guys to get a few on a straight line and give your horse a break, okay? Really focus on the feeling of where the energy is going, all right? Say your hands wide, ask that horse to drive. They're going to search right to left. Maybe they'll come up some, maybe they'll go down some, but don't release until you feel the whole horse drive from the hip and lengthen into the bit and the energy goes straight, okay? Keep in mind that this takes a long time for the muscular development to happen, for the horse to carry themselves this way consistently. So reward the baby steps at this stage. Another thing is, I cannot teach you guys feel, okay? So I'm going to describe this in the best way that I possibly can for you guys to understand it. But ultimately, you're going to have to go out there and experiment with this and play with it on your own horses and develop that feel for yourselves, okay? Everything with horsemanship takes a great deal of experimentation for us to learn that feel. And that's what I want you guys to go do, okay? So figure out what that drive feels like. Figure out what it feels like when your horse truly gets between your hands and legs. Reward that flow of energy. You don't want your horse running through your hands or rushing through the bit, but you do want a horse that's not binding up in the front and tightening in the shoulders and where the energy is scattered and going out through the shoulder and through the face like this, okay? We need straightness and alignment. All right, so go out there and play with that, guys. Let me know how it goes. And once we have this installed on our horses, then we're going to be ready for part 4 of the collection process, which is teaching your horses how to carry themselves this way consistently, as well as maintain balance on their own, no matter where you guide them. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.